Welcome to DEMOCREPUBLIX, where we cover the real news that matter to we the people. The memo was finally released today. I'm going to go ahead and read the unclassified document. Purpose. This memorandum provides members an update on significant facts relating to the committee's ongoing investigation into the Department of Justice, DOJ, and Federal Bureau of Investigations, FBI, and their use of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, FISA, during the 2016 presidential election. Our findings, which are detailed below: 1. Raise questions with the legitimacy and legality of certain DOJ and FBI interactions with the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court, FISC, and 2. Represent a troubling breakdown of legal processes established to protect the American people from abuses related to FISA process. Investigation update. On October 21st, 2016, DOJ and FBI sought to receive a FISA probable cause order, not under Title VII, authorizing electronic surveillance on Carter Page from the FISC. Page is a U.S. citizen who served as a volunteer advisor to the Trump presidential campaign. Consistent with requirements under FISA, the application had to be first certified by the director or deputy director of the FBI. It then required the approval of Attorney General, Deputy Attorney General, DAG, or the Senate confirmed Assistant Attorney General for the National Security Division. The FBI and the DOJ obtained one initial FISA warrant targeting Carter Page and 3 FISA renewals from the FISC. As required by Statute 50 U.S.C. 1805 D1, a FISA order on an American citizen must be renewed by the FISC every 90 days, and each renewal requires a separate finding of probable cause. Then Director James Comey signed the 3 FISA applications in question on behalf of the FBI, and Deputy Director Andrew McCabe signed one. Then DAG Sally Yates, then Acting DAG Dana Boente, DAG Rod Rosenstein each signed one or more FISA applications on behalf of DOJ. Due to the sensitive nature of foreign intelligence activity, FISA submissions, including renewals before the FISC, are classified. As such, the public confidence in the integrity of the FISA process depends on the court's ability to hold the government to the highest standard, particularly as it relates to surveillance of American citizens. However, the FISC's rigor in protecting the rights of Americans, which is reinforced by 90-day renewals of surveillance orders, is necessarily dependent on the government's production to the court of all material and relevant facts. This should include information potentially favorable to the target of the FISA application that is known by the government. In the case of Carter Page, the government had at least 4 independent opportunities before the FISC to accurately provide an accounting of the relevant facts. However, our findings indicate that, as described below, materials and relevant information was omitted. 1. The dossier compiled by Christopher Steele dossier, on behalf of the Democratic National Committee and the Hillary Clinton campaign, formed the essential part of the Carter Page FISA application. Steele was a longtime FBI source who was paid over $160,000 by the DNC and Clinton campaign via the law firm Perkins Coie and research firm Fusion GPS to obtain derogatory information on Donald Trump ties to Russia. They didn't present this to the FISA court, that part, that it was back, the whole document was backed by the DNC and the Hillary Clinton campaign. They didn't alert the FISA court to this. Okay, back to the report. A, neither the initial application in October 2016 nor any renewals disclose or reference the role of the DNC, and like I just stated, Clinton campaign, or any party campaign in funding Steele's efforts, even though the potential origins of the Steele dossier were then known to senior DOJ and FBI officials. So they knew who was behind this dossier, who paid for this dossier, who put forth this dossier, who sent Steele to put together this dossier. They know that they had ulterior motives. The FBI and the DOJ knew the ulterior motives of this dossier, and they knowingly, still, without question, took this dossier to the FISA court. Okay, B. The initial FISA application notes Steele was working for a named U.S. person, but does not name Fusion GPS and Principal Glenn Simpson, who was paid by the U.S. law firm Perkins Coie, representing the DNC, even though it was known by the DOJ at the time that potential actors were involved with the Steele dossier. The application does not mention Steele was ultimately working on behalf of and paid by the DNC and the Clinton campaign, or the FBI had separately authorized payment to Steele for the same information. So he got paid by the DNC, Steele I'm talking about, got paid by the DNC, he got paid by Hillary Clinton campaign, and the FBI all paid for this document. So he's basically getting paid off of this falsified document. Okay, back to the article. The Carter Page FISA. Oh, I'm sorry. Another point here. They were supposed to submit this information to FISA court. They actually omitted it on purpose because they knew that the FISA court probably would have not issued them the warrants because of the ulterior motives behind this dossier. That's why they purposely omitted that information to the FISA court. Okay, back to the report. Number 2, the Carter Page FISA application also cited extensively a September 23rd, 2016 Yahoo News article by Michael Isikoff, which focuses on Page's July 2016 trip to Moscow. The article does not corroborate the Steele dossier because it is derived from information leaked by Steele himself to Yahoo News, and that's big right there. Steele leaked that stuff to Yahoo News. The Page FISA application incorrectly assesses that Steele did not directly provide information to Yahoo, so they lied. Steele has admitted in British court filings that he met with Yahoo News and several other outlets in September 2016 at the direction of Fusion GPS. So he admitted to the British court that he did provide information to Yahoo News, but when they went to give this information to the FISA courts, they didn't put in the application that he leaked information to the press. Okay, where did I leave off here? Okay, September 26th at the direction. Perkins Coie was aware of Steele's initial media contacts because they hosted at least one meeting in Washington, D.C. in 2016 with Steele and Fusion GPS, where this matter was discussed. So they knew about it because they actually talked about it. A. Steele was suspended and then terminated as an FBI source. That's important. They suspended him and then terminated him as an FBI source for what the FBI defines as the most serious of violation, an unauthorized disclosure to the media of a relationship with the FBI in the October 30th, 2016 Mother Jones article by David Korn. Steele should have been terminated for his previous undisclosed contacts with Yahoo and other outlets in September before the Page application was submitted. So after the fact, when he went and leaked more information to the press, that's when they finally terminated him. It said before the Page application was submitted to the FISC in October, but Steele improperly concealed from and lied to the FBI about those contacts. B. Steele's numerous encounters with the media violated the cardinal rule of source handling, maintaining confidentiality, and demonstrated that Steele had become less than reliable source to the FBI. Because if the FISA court knew this ahead of time, they wouldn't have never issued the warrant in the first place to spy on Page. Number 3. Before and after Steele was terminated as a source, he maintained contact with DOJ via then Associate Deputy Attorney General Bruce Orr, a senior DOJ official who worked closely with Deputy Attorney General Yates and later Rosenstein. Shortly after the election, the FBI began interviewing Orr, documenting his communications with Steele. For example, in September 2016, Steele admitted to Orr his feelings against then-candidate Trump when Steele said he was desperate that Donald Trump not get elected and was passionate about him not to be president. This clear evidence of Steele's bias was recorded by Orr at the time and subsequently in official FBI files, but not reflected in any of the page FISA applications. So they knew that he was trying to take down Trump. Steele did not like Trump. He was trying to take down Trump. And he fabricated this information to make Trump look bad, leaked it to the press, and this fake information ended up in the hands of the FISA court, which the FBI used to spy on Trump and his team. It clearly states it right here. Okay, A. During this time period, Orr's wife was employed by Fusion GPS, conflict of interest, you think, to assist in the cultivation of opposition research on Trump. Orr later provided the FBI with all of his wife's opposition research, paid for by the DNC and Clinton campaign via Fusion GPS. The Orr's relationship with Steele and Fusion GPS was inexplicably concealed from the FISC. So you have Orr, who works for the FBI, his wife, who worked for Fusion GPS, and Orr's wife got paid by the DNC and Hillary Clinton for her information for this fake document. So you see all of these people working together to take down Trump. They talk about Russian collusion, but the only collusion I see is the collusion with the FBI, the DOJ, the DNC, and the Hillary Clinton campaign. Okay, but back to the article. Number 4. According to the head of the FBI's Counterintelligence Division, Assistant Director Bill Priestap, corroboration of the Steele dossier was in its infancy at the time of the initial page FISA application. After Steele was terminated, a source validation report conducted by the independent unit within the FBI says Steele reporting as only minimally corroborated. So they admit it's minimally corroborated. Yet in early January 2017, Director Comey briefed President-elect Trump on a summary of the Steele dossier, even though it was according to his June 2017 testimony salacious and unverified. So they know it was unverified, and they still used it. While the FISA application relied on Steele's past record of credible reporting on his other unrelated matters, it ignored or concealed his anti-Trump financial and ideological motivations. Furthermore, Deputy Director McCabe testified before the committee in December 2017 that no surveillance warrant would have been sought from the FISC without the Steele dossier information. So it says it right here. Deputy Director McCabe, he testified and admitted that without that dossier, they would have never got the permission to wiretap. It clearly says it right here. And I read some mainstream media websites, and the mainstream media trying to say that the dossier is not responsible for the surveillance of Trump's team. But it clearly states right here. It clearly states right here. No surveillance warrant would have been sought from the FISC without the Steele dossier information. So more fake news they're putting out. And this is the last one right here. Number 5. The page FISA application also mentions information regarding fellow Trump campaign advisor George Papadopoulos, but there is no evidence of any cooperation or conspiracy between Page and Papadopoulos. The Papadopoulos information triggered the opening of the FBI counterintelligence investigation in late July 2016 by FBI agent Peter Strzok. And we all know about Strzok and his text messages. Strzok was reassigned by Special Counsel Office to the FBI Human Resources for improper text messages, as I just stated, with his mistress, FBI attorney Lisa Page, where they both demonstrated a clear bias against Trump and in favor of Clinton, whom Strzok also investigated. The Strzok-Lisa Page texts also reflect extensive discussions about the investigation, orchestrating leaks to the media, and include a meeting with Deputy Director McCabe to discuss an insurance policy against President Trump. Against President Trump's election. So this summation of the intelligence report that Nunes put out, it clearly shows a collusion with, like I said earlier, the FBI, the DOJ, Hillary Clinton campaign. They all was working together. So that's what the collusion was. No Russian collusion. They haven't found a shred of evidence. Well, all this leaks going around with the FBI, if they had something on Trump, you best believe it would have been leaked by now. Only thing they leak is this falsified stuff, and they use the fake Steele document that still haven't been verified. How long this document been out? It still haven't been verified, and they use this unverified document to spy on the incoming president of the United States. So if they're using stuff like this in the FISA courts to spy on a candidate running for president of the United States, what do you think they're doing to with your information? You don't think they're spying on you? So let me know what you think about this article. Do you think some more heads are gonna roll in the FBI and the DOJ? You think anybody's gonna go to jail? Let me know what you think, and I'm gonna also post some more thoughts that I have on this on DEMOCREPUBLIX.com. So check that out, and if you got any comments, leave them below as always, and subscribe. We need to get them subscriptions up, and please check out DEMOCREPUBLIX.com for the latest in news. Till next time.
We live in a really nightmare. We live in a really nightmare.